Hello everyone. Today we will talk about how to prepare for UPSC part number 2. We have already concluded about a brief introduction about how to work out, what we need to do, how the overall structure of UPSC present, how the prelims are present, how mains is present, how interview is present. We have given a brief introduction of how we need to go ahead. We have also mentioned that at any given point of time for UPSC, clearing of UPSC, you should be having the confidence of saying that you should be in a position to clear for interview. You should be saying that to yourself that you are going to crack that in the first attempt and you will go out to interview. With this mindset only you have to prepare for UPSC. Other than there are few other different mindset which we see saying that no, we will initially clear prelims, then we will prepare for mains, then we will go for interview. This sort of preparation is unwarranted. A holistic preparation is what needed for UPSC cracking. Now, as we have already mentioned, in order to crack UPSC, rather than starting your preparation from prelims itself, starting your preparation from mains itself is of the importance. So in order to understand what is the mains, we have already mentioned that this particular examination, mains examination, is subjective in nature. So you need to write a lot of data. But how you need to write that data? Is it the way you present the data? Whether is it in line with whatever the question they have asked, or you have written the answer in such a way that you are beating around the bush. So you are writing all the peripheral data, whatever you know about that particular topic, but missing out the current affair, the context in which they have answered, they have asked that question, means it is of no use. So that is what is important. So what is the context? You need to understand at any point of time what is the context in which a particular question is being asked. The context means, suppose say Indian national movement, the viewpoint of Mahatma Gandhi for Indian national movement is different from the viewpoint of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. It is different from the viewpoint of Bhagat Singh. It is different from the viewpoint of Subhash Chandra Bose. So depending upon the context, depending from whose viewpoint a particular scenario, a particular event in Indian national movement is being asked, depending upon that context in which the question is being asked, you need to answer it in the similar manner. This is of paramount importance. So don't go out of the context whenever you are writing a mains examination. We will talk about what are different papers existing in mains, how to attempt each and every paper, but in a general perspective, irrespective of the type of paper you are answering, whether it is GS paper 1, GS paper 2, 3 or 4, or be it be your essay paper also, context, you need to revolve your entire data. You can give a brief intro before the events, what happened in this context, just before and after, that is fine, but your entire content in which you are writing should be present on the content, and how relevant that content whichever you are present to the whatever the question they have asked. That is point number 1. Point number 2, any current affairs are there, check for current affairs. So if a particular question is asked, be it be in geographical context or be it be in international relations, any point of time, is there any current affairs which is a burning issue that is going on? Try to provide that as the example, because it will give you a fair understanding to the examiner that this particular candidate is preparing and in touch with the day-to-day affairs that are going both in the national level as well as in the international level. Until you mention that your awareness, because down the line when you become an in charge of a district, that's what they call it as district magistrates or district level superintendent of police, if you become at that position, you should be well aware of what is going on in your district. Until you have this grasping of the current affairs, what is happening to your country in international scenario, what it is happening at your ground level personality, what are the day-to-day affairs that are happening, if you don't have this clarity, if you don't have this habit of understanding what is going in a day-to-day manner, so that will give you a very negative point. You are unfit to become a general administrator. An administrator can be one person who have a understanding about day-to-day affairs, how things are moving on. So this viewpoint, whenever you present your latest current affairs into that answer wherever it is relevant, then that will give you a fair understanding to the examiner that yes, this particular candidate is worth to give a better mark. So after all, in any competition exam, it will come down to one thing, whether you have scored better or not. Simple. Then the personality test. In order to go up to the personality test, you need to clear your mains. So this is also a mark based, similar to prelims. Prelims is just cut off. Beyond this, just for temporary purpose, you are taking prelims as a filtering process. Once it is done in the mains, the marks is of importance. Once you are above certain set of cutoff marks, then you will be given to interview. So marks is important. So everything will boil down to whether a particular individual has scored better marks or not. So for that, current affairs will play a major role. Similarly, this particular point number 3, make use of maps. Very important point. Make use of your maps. If you have a imaginative mindset, if you have that pictorial mindset, where if you see something you have that picture perception that you can reproduce it in a better manner, try to use it as liberally as possible. There is nothing wrong. There is no restriction in UPSC. Wherever there is a context, especially when you are talking about geography, be it be optional or be it be in your GS paper 1 where geography is present, for world geography as well as Indian geography, and in case of international relations also, whenever you are explaining a theoretical context and if you think you can explain that data in a better sense via map, make use of maps. The picture will speak a far more information whatever you have written also. Moreover, with this you will save certain amount of time. Time is also of essence, because they won't give you all the 24 hours available in a day to you. They will give you some 2 hours of time to write a paper. So go and utilize of maps as much as possible. There is nothing wrong. It's not like you will draw all your favorite characters. If you are a cartoon favorite, you will draw all those characters. It's not like that. Within this context of the question, you need to make use of liberal use of maps. If you have that pictorial mindset and if you can reproduce in a rough format also, that is fine. But don't try to present your maps in the main sheet itself. Suppose if the sheet is divided in the left side and right side margin, try to keep your maps as much as possible towards the right side, because suddenly if you remember few or 2 more points, you can still utilize the left margin for imbibing the points. Okay, next important point while writing mains exam is time bound. Write your answers in a time bound manner. So if there are 25 questions, how much is the value of each and every question? Is it for 5 marks? Is it for 10 marks? Is it for 15 marks? How many words they are asking? Is it 200 words, 250 words, or 500 words? Depending upon the quantity of the words they are asking, depending upon the marks they are awarding, or depending upon the words they are asking, based on that, try to utilize your time. So for which wordings you need to utilize how much amount of time, so segregate your time into the entire slot. So depending upon that number of questions and the number of words for each question, try to calculate the how much amount of time you need to spend for 200 words questions, 250 words questions, or 500 words question. This is important, because I have seen some of the candidates in our mock examinations. We have seen candidates who try to write and they have data about 2 or 3 questions. They have complete set of data. They try to reproduce as much as possible on top of that particular question. In that enthusiasm to reproduce whatever the data they have, they lost track of the time, and they will hardly attempt 5 questions. That is another problem, because they were well prepared on that topic. A topic came, so they will start reproducing whatever the data is available to them. Never do that, because you need to cover as much as possible within the prescribed time. So calculate your time effectively. Another 5th point is very important one. Attempt as many as possible. Attempt max. So attempt as many as questions possible. Okay, in your mains examination there is no restriction that you need to attempt only this. They expect you to attempt all the questions. So try to attempt as much as possible all the questions that can be possible when you are utilizing your time, when you have calculated your time for each and every question, how much you can spend. Based on that, calculate an effective way of writing can be done. Then you can attempt a maximum amount of questions, because believe me, for each and every question, once you have judiciously prepared for UPSC examinations, you will have that mindset that whenever you are looking at the question paper, for each and every question you can at least provide 2 to 3 points, relevant points to that particular context. It can fetch you at least 2 to 3 marks. Correct? Those marks will help you to crack mains. Who knows? Because after all, that is a marginal scale. If 1 mark is above and beyond also, it can create impact whether you are going for interview or not going for interview. So attempt as many as questions. Attempt maximum number of questions possible, but within the context. This is important. If you have attempted all the questions, fine, but there is no context, there is no relevance. They have asked some question, they asked that question in certain format, they expect the answer in certain format, you are writing the answer in some other format, you have given an introduction, they won't give you marks. But you have provided that context and current affairs interlinkage topic, you are revolving and around that topic, you have provided, you have pinpointed your answer that this is the context and you have explained that, then they will consider your introduction and conclusion related. But in between section is not relevant means there is no use of giving introduction, there is no use of giving conclusion. So using these 5 points, is what gives a maximum advantage in mains. Now I hope there are no doubts up to this point. Now we will look into the other aspect out here. That thing is, in order to write with confidence the mains, the first and foremost thing we need to have is the knowledge base. That is knowledge base. How you will get this knowledge base? By reading, by writing, by practicing. If you don't read your NCERTs, you don't read your prescribed books, you don't read your newspaper, you don't have a habit of whatever you read, try to reproducing them, clearing mains is a dream. Simple. It's as simple as that. Okay. So you need to improvise your knowledge base, not only in terms of width horizontally, vertically also. The depth of knowledge you need to have on a particular subject should be pretty good. I am not expecting, UPSC won't expect a PhD level candidates or master degree. After all, they are not giving any master degree out there. Once you get into Mussoorie Institute, then you will be provided with your master degree, MA in public administration, equivalent degrees you will be getting. But before that, what they are expecting is you should have a well-versed read person related knowledge base. For that, reading is what is needed. What you need to read? You need to read your NCERT books, state level books are there. Best example, Tamil Nadu history books are one of the good books which can compete with your CBSE NCERT books in terms of historical perspective. Next, another important thing along with the knowledge base is that writing practice. So whatever you have read so far, you need to reproduce this. You need to write. How you will try to write? You can question yourself, you can frame the questions yourself and try to attempt them. That is one way. Another important way which we have is for writing practice, make use of previous year question papers. Go to UPSC websites, no need to look after through entire internet. Go through UPSC website, you will have number of previous question papers on the yearly basis are available. Make use them. Try to write a better answers. You start this on a day-to-day basis, not on a 1 week, weekly once I will write practicing. No. Divide your entire time schedule for each and every day, at least allocate 1 or 2 hours of time for writing practice. Until you have this writing practice of habit, suddenly going into mains and writing them in a subjective manner is not possible. Next, along with this is correcting them. Reading, writing and correcting. How you will correct? Based on the knowledge base available. You write a question today. Say today you write a question. Give a delay of 7 days. Next, read yourself. The same answer whatever you have answered 1 week back. Read yourself. Then you will know what are the mistakes you have. Believe me, this concept has worked for number of toppers. This is called self-evaluating or self-correcting process. This particular concept is already present in psychology also, where an individual in his emotion might have written or did something, but over a period of time he will once again regret because he will rethink about it. In a similar manner, you have read something, using the help of previous year question papers you have started your answer writing practice. If your faculty is not available, give a 1 week of time, then correct it yourself. Then identify the mistakes, then feedback. Improve your knowledge base, write it, correct it. This way the output is what you will get is a refined answers. This is what is expected in mains. This refined answers will give you maximum amount of marks. So this is what is expected from UPSC. So for today we will conclude up to this part. Tomorrow we will see further elaborate on each and every individual paper in mains. Thank you very much.